You gotta be kidding me.
You're the one with the problem.
Why haven't you paid for the accommodation?
Because you're the one who left me.
Just bring the money here.
I'm not going to, because I'm the one who was left behind. I didn't want to go on that trip in the first place. My husband and I have been married for 6 years. Our 5-year-old daughter is adorable, and watching her grow up day by day is the best part of my life. However, the relationship between my husband and I is at its worst. I quit my job when my child was 1 year old, and my husband told me that if I'm not working, I would have to do all the house chores on my own. So I did all the housework and raised the child by myself. When my daughter was newborn, I had a hard time getting enough sleep. I even asked my husband for help. But his answer was that he would divorce me anytime if I had a problem with it. He showed me the completed divorce papers and put them in a drawer in front of me. Then, every time something happened, he would pull out this paper and mention divorce with a disgusted look on his face. And my mother-in-law, who raised such a son, is just like my husband. I have a good news for you today. My mother-in-law visits all of a sudden, opens the fridge without asking, and starts eating my son's yogurt. My mother-in-law always comes over out of the blue, and if that was all she did, I could still put up with it. She would lecture me about how a wife should be on and on after my husband had complained about me. She would look for dust in the corners of the house and criticize about me. I don't trust her when she tells me that she has a good news for me. What's wrong with you? You should look happier that I'm going to tell you good news. You are really not nice. My son is right. What's the news? We're going on a trip. I see. Where to? It's your job as an unemployed person to decide that.
What do you mean?
You're really not very smart either, are you? It's so unfortunate. I have a surprise for my son, who always works so hard.
A surprise?
Yes, let's all help him relieve his fatigue.
The point is this. My mother-in-law wants to go on a trip with her son, but she doesn't want to pay for it herself. So she came up with an idea to invite me and my daughter on this trip too, and she wants to make me pay for it. Who would want to go on such a trip? I definitely don't want to go. Besides, we can't afford it.
Let's make it a grand trip.
No, I never said that I was going. Let me think about this for a while. I finished the conversation with my mother-in-law while not knowing what to do. When my husband came home that night, he was in a very bad mood. I could see why. My mother-in-law must have told him. I heard you disobeyed my mother today. I was just telling the truth. What? Are you saying that we can't take her on vacation? That's right. We don't have that kind of money. My mother-in-law said it was a surprise, and she already told my husband about the trip. What's the surprise in this? If we're not managing our finance well, it's your fault. How can I manage what we don't have? Are you trying to say that I don't make enough money? Well, it's not much. You gotta be kidding me. Anyway, I'm definitely going on this trip. You better plan everything. That's an order. If you can't do it, we're getting a divorce. I might as well get a divorce now. But what will my daughter think? That's the only thing I'm worried about. At the end, I had to look for the hotel when I wasn't even sure about the trip. However, after she spoke with my husband, my mother-in-law started to get very picky.
I want a room with an open-air bathtub. The meals should be the most luxurious at the hotel.
And so on. I wondered how much it would cost if I accommodated such requests. But if I did not listen to her requests, I would be subjected to another storm of sarcasm. I decided to take a certain action shamelessly. Then, I was able to fulfill all of my mother-in-law's requests. My mother-in-law's tension was very high and annoying when she found out about it. She said something incomprehensible.
It's because I suggested everything to her.
Really, it was thanks to my mom that you were able to get the accommodation. My husband started lecturing me over dinner, as usual. However, I had endured this for 4 years and perhaps had already become immune, so I just let him talk away. The only thing that saved me was that my husband did not burst into sarcasm in front of our daughter, as if he was not comfortable with showing this side of him to his daughter. On the day of the trip, I am sitting in the driver's seat. I was the one who rented the car, and of course, I am the one driving. My husband is just sitting like he owns the place in the passenger seat. My mother-in-law was in the back seat, not listening at all to my daughter. Instead, she's talking to herself about some souvenirs. I have been driving all morning, but neither my husband nor my mother-in-law show any signs of offering to help. I was not allowed to take a break, and we finally stopped at a service area when my daughter asked to use the restroom. I quickly took my daughter to the restroom and hurried back to the car. But the car was gone. I circled the parking lot, looking around in a panic, but the car was nowhere to be found. Thinking there was no way, I called my husband. But there was no answer, so I called my mother-in-law.
You guys came back too late.
My mother-in-law laughed and said we were too late and she had left us. I tried to tell her that I had just gone to the bathroom for a few minutes, but my husband's voice interrupted me. It's your fault that this happened, because you don't obey me. You have no right to go on this trip. Was that your plan all along? If so, then what? I'm fine, but what about our daughter Nina? She's the same as you. She's been acting cocky lately. She talked back at Mom for complaining about you. She needs to be spanked too. But she was looking forward to this trip. So, I'll think about it again when you're both sorry. If you understand it, you can go home now. My husband hung up the phone. Well, what to do now? It's indeed a long way home from here.
Mom, are you okay? Did Dad and Grandma leave us?
I guess so.
They're so mean, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so too.
Are we going home?
Yeah, but you've been looking forward to this trip.
But only because it's with you, Mom. If you're going home, I want to go home too.
Then let's go on an adventure together.
Adventure!
My daughter's carefree smile saved me. I then contacted my friend Lisa, who lives a short distance from here, and told her what had happened. She immediately came to pick me up and take us home.
Hey, what are you going to do?
My friend made sure my daughter was asleep before she started talking. I think I'm getting a divorce.
That's good. You put up with it for a long time.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want this husband who harms my daughter anymore. I signed the divorce papers in the drawer and asked Lisa to fill in the witness box. My mother-in-law's name was already written in the other witness box. Thanks to this, I was able to file the divorce papers right away.
3 days after returning home from the service area, my phone rang as soon as I dropped my daughter off at the kindergarten.
You gotta be kidding me.
You're the one with the problem.
Why haven't you paid for the accommodation?
Because you're the one who left me.
You should have paid in advance.
Oh, really?
Besides, why should it cost $6,000 for the hotel?
It's the result of fulfilling all your favorite mother's wishes.
Get over here now with the money as fast as you can.
I'm not going to because I'm the one who was left behind. I didn't want to go on that trip in the first place. You and your mother had a great time there, so why don't you split it? That would be $3,000 per person. At that moment, I heard a woman's voice on the other side of the phone. It's time for you to pay. If you don't pay, I will call the police.
No problem. My wife will pay. She's on her way here right now.
Where is your wife now?
At home.
I checked your address, but it looks like you're a long way from home. You left her in the service area and you're telling her to come just to pay?
Excuse me?
Your wife and I have been friends since high school. I was the one who picked her up and your daughter from the service area. I shamelessly asked my old friend for her help for this trip. Then she told me that she would offer me the hotel that she runs as the owner for free. When we were still in high school, she was struggling with her future. Her family owned the renowned hotel, but she had other dreams. As the only daughter, she was unable to fulfill those dreams, so she took over the hotel in tears. She said that I was the one who cheered her more than anyone else at that time. She felt that she owed me for it, and this time she returned the favor. I told her that she did not have to pay if she would stay at the hotel. But she's not here. I have no personal connection with you. In other words, you are simply hotel guests. Since you are just guests, I would like you to pay the full price. All right. Look, why don't you pay with your credit card for now and charge it to your wife later?
I don't want to do that.
It's not that you don't want to, it's that you can't. Wait, what do you mean? Because your son's salary is $1,200. The credit card limit is $3,000 at most. What do you mean? Your wife is lying. You said you were getting a good salary. My husband just stood in silence. He's a salesman, and if he gets a contract, he gets an incentive and paid more. However, my husband, who has a low sales, only receives the minimum guaranteed salary. Therefore, the amount of money is not anywhere near what he can afford. Don't tell me you're going to pay out of your savings. That's for the divorce payment, the alimony, and child support.
What the hell are you talking about?
I filed for divorce. Did you say you would divorce me anytime? Thank you. I submitted it that day as fast as I could. So we're not married anymore.
Wait a minute.
I won't wait. My husband eventually promised Lisa that he would pay in installments. I then got an attorney and formally filed for custody of my daughter, child support, and alimony. And I took my daughter back to my parents' house. One of the regulars at Lisa's hotel is an executive at my husband's company, and the executive told him to pay for the stay in full. My mother-in-law had divorced when my ex-husband was in middle school, and she was planning to have him take care of her in the future. When my mother-in-law found out about my ex-husband's income, she contacted me to ask me to reconsider the divorce. I really wonder how she can have the nerves to say that after all that she has done to me. My ex-husband also calls me and says that my daughter needs a father and that we should marry again and live together. My daughter is happily living at home with my parents. I don't know what he's talking about now, since he never took care of her anyway. My ex-husband went back to his mother's house right after the divorce. He had a poor performance at work and was not a good planner, so he applied for a last-minute vacation for that trip. The fact that he couldn't pay for the hotel also became known through the company executive, and my ex-husband is feeling very small at work. Next weekend, I will be going to Lisa's hotel with my daughter. And I started a new work so I could make a solid basis for the future. It's been a long time since I worked, but it is so much more fulfilling than the marriage I had. The idea that it's better for children to have both parents together did not apply to our case. I think it's more important for children to have smiling parents. I have learned many things from this divorce. The only thing that has not changed is my desire to always put my daughter first. With my daughter, I can always give my best anywhere. People like her ex-husband seem to have a lot of confidence. I wonder where they get their confidence from. Either way, I think the divorce was the right decision. I'm glad that she has a wonderful daughter and a friend. I hope you have a peaceful life with your daughter from now on. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you like. See you in the next video.